What is up? What is up? We are back live yet again. Just wanted to talk today about the scouting combine. As you guys know, it has begun. Edge and linebacker room was testing today, and it stood out. Linebacker class looks really good, and it's a good thing the Buccaneers need a few linebackers. Edge class, defensive line, some stood out, some surprises, some kind of what we expected. But welcome into Real Bucs Talk. We're live here on a Thursday evening. Just wanted to kind of have a casual chat and put out some thoughts about some different things. But Steven, always good to see you in the chat. Yeah, I completely agree. I think flooding the edge room definitely should be a priority, whether that's, through free agency or the draft. Doing both, I think, is definitely the way to go. So appreciate you guys joining in. Feel free to leave comments, questions, anything you guys want to discuss. But let's get right to it. Sonny Styles, the guy's elite. Probably one of the better players, probably at least a top 3 player in this class. Right next to Jeremiah Love and Arvell Reese. I mean, just outstanding what he was able to do today, testing wise, at 6'5", 244 pounds, almost 33-inch arm length, 10-inch hands. The guy is built out of a lab. He's a created football player. 4.46 40-yard dash, 1.56 10-yard split, 43-inch vert, almost 44 inches, 11.2 broad. Just outstanding numbers for Sonny Styles. Really good. And I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be tough for the Buccaneers to get this guy. I don't think he's going to fall to 15. And that brings me to my other point here, where Evan Winter put out a very good article at A to Z Sports. Be sure to check it out. Will the Buccaneers consider trading up for Sonny Styles? I think it's something worth a conversation, especially if he gets to a certain spot. If he gets, past 7, who is Washington Commanders pick, if he makes it to somehow to number 10, where Cincinnati sits, I think you got to look at potentially trading up and maybe giving up some draft capital to get it done. But he was outstanding today. Just really good player. And when you watch his tape, I mean, it's just very clean, consistent, knows how to fly to the football, knows how to make plays in the box, knows how to do things in coverage. Just a really versatile player. And you can see the background from him being a safety and then converting to linebacker. He's just a very rare type of specimen, and I think it's really cool to see. He's going to be really good, and you can see the scouting report here by Lance Zierlein, Fred Warner. I mean, that's pretty obvious, makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I mean, he stood out. And then let's get to you guys know my draft crush, short arms. And I think this is something we knew about Cassius Howell, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. I still thought he had a very good day as far as the drills. I thought he did well in, his athletic testing. Yeah, the vertical jump, broad jump, not the best, but his 40-yard dash, his 10-yard split, all matched up with his tape. Very fast player on the field. And there's still some things that he can clean up. And yeah, it sucks about the 30 point, 30 and a quarter inch arms. That's a big outlier. But I still think film above all else, and the film is really good. And I think John Ledyard, his tweet put really good points out, and this makes a lot of sense. Arm length is not an issue for Cassius Howell, especially from the 2025 tape. He does a great job of never getting hit right in the chest. He does an awesome job of dodging, slipping blocks, getting around people, knows how to do that, knows how to bend, knows how to rush at the top of the arc, all those things. And then the stance, yes, that's an issue as far as overall footwork, and I think that can be improved. So I think you got to look at it from that standpoint. And then he also says, arm length, wingspan will probably still be an issue. It's going to be an issue for him in the NFL, but I think it's something that he can still work around. I still like him as a first round player. It's a little bit riskier. I also talked about that, but he stood out. And then a couple other guys that stood out for me at edge and linebacker that I'll definitely be getting into the tape and dive more into. Malachi Lawrence out of UCF, I thought had a terrific day. I mean, from the size measurables, 6'4", almost 34-inch arm length. And then he put up ridiculous athletic testing at 4.52, 40-yard dash, 1.59, 10-yard split, 40-inch vert, broad, all really good. So he's someone definitely to take a look at as far as edge rusher. And then a huge favorite for you guys, Jacob Rodriguez had a outstanding day, and I think has confirmed himself in the top half of this draft as far as like top 50 players. I think he's going to be in that round 2 discussion, round 3 maybe, because when you turn on his tape, it's pretty solid. There's some things that I was kind of hesitant with him as far as overall, like getting through block destruction, some hesitant things as far as attacking downhill, but the guy just knows how to create turnovers. He knows how to play the spot. So, and just had ridiculous numbers, 4.57, 1.6, 10-yard split. And then the athletic testing, the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle, that matches up. So very quick on tape. So definitely going to be excited to dive into his film and get a film study out there for you guys. So that was intriguing. But back to Sonny Styles. I mean, the dude is going to be a top 10 pick for sure. But I want to welcome all you guys in. John V, good to see you. Yeah, Sonny Styles he's outstanding. I think we were all praying that somehow he would make it to 15, but I don't think that's going to happen. Casual viewers, good to see you. Phenomenal linebacker prospect. And that's a great point. And that's something we can talk about. Do you trade up for a Sonny Styles, or do you let it play out and feel confident that you're going to get one of the better linebacking prospects as far as in the second round? And I think there is a good opportunity. You still have, Jacob Rodriguez, you have CJ Allen, if they wanted to consider someone else in the first round. He didn't test today, but by all measures, he's one of the better linebackers in this class. Anthony Hill, interesting. I think he would be definitely a fit for Todd Bowles' scheme. Galladay, I think there's some questions there. I think he's kind of that boomer bust type of potential, just because of the way they utilize Galladay at Cincinnati. So there's some questions there. Definitely could see him being a top 50 pick for sure. And then Jacob Rodriguez, I think, is all a fan favorite and someone that they are going to definitely consider for sure. So yeah, all these are great points. K Lurd, good to see you. Lawrence, yeah, I mean, Malachi Lawrence definitely made some money, today. So it's good to see. Steven, yeah, I'm a big fan of Cassius Howe. Again, I don't think you have to force that pick at 15, but I would be excited with him if he is the pick. I just think he knows how to rush the passer, especially as a high side edge rusher, and that's something the Buccaneers have been looking for since the departure of Shaq Barrett. I think he would complement Yaya Diaby very well just because of his overall speed, his profile, and how he can win. I think you would definitely need to pair him up with somebody, though, just because he will need time to develop his run defense and just learn how to be effective, especially with his, arm length deficiency, but it doesn't hurt him as far as his play style because he's just so strong in his legs. Like when you watch him play and he's not even moving properly right now because of his stance and the way it kind of slows him down a little bit. So imagine if he corrects that footwork and gets the stance proper, he can be even better. So I think there's still a lot of upside with Cassius Howe despite the limitations in terms of size and his overall arm length. But yeah, he would be an option. I think here in a little bit, we'll get into, maybe some of the free agent targets that I would definitely be, looking out for, especially at edge and linebacker, because I think we can all agree here, whoever's watching this, I think we can all agree the Buccaneers have to go into free agency, find a way to at least get one edge rusher, one linebacker, and maybe a interior defensive lineman. And I think it's good to note that the Buccaneers so far throughout this combine, they spent a lot of formal interviews on defensive line, edge, and linebacker. They only have 45 formal interviews, and I think they've already used half of those on the front seven, which is a great sign. And I think that's very important. So yeah, definitely so far, lots to like with how the Buccaneers are enforcing the front seven, making it a priority. So yeah, it's good to see. John V, good point. I don't think the Bucs can afford to trade up in the draft. Too many holes to fill. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I understand that point. I think it really comes down to if they can get certain guys in free agency to hopefully shore up the concern in the front seven, and maybe it allows you to do a little bit more as far as trading up. And again, it depends on what that trade up is going to cost. Let's say it's only going to cost you maybe a third round pick to move up a certain number of spots. I think to get a Sonny Styles, who's one of the elite players in this class, and there's not many. If you have an opportunity to do that, I think you take that chance, because to add not only a good football player, but to add an elite talent, that is something that I think the Buccaneers would love to do. And those type of opportunities don't come around often. So I think it would be intriguing to see something like that. But yeah, for the most part, I think I'm leaning your way. I think even like a trade down scenario, I think would probably be best to get more picks. Devin Bush, yeah, I would be ecstatic with Devin Bush. I think he would probably cost you somewhere in the $11 to $12 million range. So I think he would be an excellent fit for what the Buccaneers do schematically. And it just depends on what happens with Mike Evans. We talked a little bit about Mike Evans on Tuesday's live stream. If you guys didn't catch it, be sure to check that out. But yeah, Mike Evans, I think, is up in the air. Like I said on Tuesday, they drafted Emeka Buka for a reason. And I think you have to be smart with your resources. If they can get Mike back for, let's say, less than 20 million and somewhere closer to 18, I think they will have a chance to re-sign him. But it looks like Cade Otton is probably going to be the odd man out. And I think definitely putting more resources, whether that's a free agent linebacker, free agent edge, that is something that they have to do. I think it's pretty much necessary. T-Town, good to see you. The edge from UCF, yeah, he was ridiculous. Talking about Malachi Lawrence here, I'll bring him back up on the screen. Just crazy numbers, man. And I started watching his tape at UCF, and he definitely plays pretty fast, very, all out effort, which I like, maximum effort throughout every play. Definitely a good motor, and you can just see the numbers. I mean, really helped himself out, and he's probably going to be a top 75 player in this class for sure. So yeah, good point there. Kaler too. I'm not really in depth at scouting. Is Cassius Howell a well-rounded player, or is he all speed? We all saw how he went with Tryon. So Cassius Howell, I think there is a good foundation for what he does. The difference between him and Joe Tryon is Cassius Howell has a very in-depth plan of attack. He has a good rush plan. He can win in multiple ways. He can win on the outside. He can win inside because he sets offensive tackles up to really overset and really get out to a certain spot where he can win with the speed and the bendability around the outside corner. And when they start to figure that out, he sets them up with inside counters, inside speed moves that he can win with. He also has a little bit of power because of his leg drive is so strong. And when you look at the composition of his makeup and how he's built, the legs really stand out. He's got really strong upper leg capacity, good calves and thighs, and the hammies are strong. So he's built the right way. With that said, he doesn't have the longest arms. He's got 30-inch arm length, which is not great for an edge rusher. And that is something that, is definitely going to be a disadvantage at the next level. But he's so fast in how he plays. And I think there's even room for improvement to fix that the upside is still very strong with him. And I think he still is a first round player. He's got tremendous production. On top of that, he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. And that says quite a lot, because that if you can dominate in that conference, I think you're going to be a pretty good player at the minimum in the next level. So I don't think Joe Tryon came close to that. And I don't think they're very similar in that regard. But I understand your points as far as the concern there. But yeah, I think he's different than a Joe Tryon. Yeah, all good comments here by Steven. Trade out of the first. I think, yeah, I mean, that's definitely could be an option. I think that would be definitely something to look at. That would be fun. Mike Evans, I don't think he's going to resign for $12 million, but I like where your head's at. Tyler Algier, I think, could definitely be a target. Khalil Mack, maybe. I don't know if they're going to go after Khalil Mack, though. Njoku from the Browns, I don't know if they'll go someone like Njoku. Again, it depends on the cost. I think he's still a very good player. I would kind of lean towards them looking at maybe like a Tyler Higbee, a veteran tight end that has played in this system before, can do some things, and maybe you try to get a leap out of Devin Culp or Payne Durham. You could also draft a tight end. They met with a lot of tight ends today that could be available on day 2 or even day 3 of the draft. So I think that is definitely a route they could go to. And got to remember, like Cade Otton, he was a 4th round pick and he started every game since he's been in the league. They could try to find someone similar to that, maybe like an Oscar Delp out of Georgia or a Sam Roush from Stanford. I think those are good options. But yeah, very good point on Njoku. I think that is something to look at. Yeah, John V, I'm with you there. I think Higbee could definitely be somewhere they target, and then definitely a tight end draft pick for sure. Okay, yeah, Luke Haggs, Ole Miss tight end. Okay, I'll have to look into him. I'm not too familiar. Casual viewer. Yeah, Mason, I think it's Rieger, or I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologize if I mispronounce it. I saw him at the combine today. He looks pretty athletic. I thought he was doing some good things. So yeah, he would be intriguing. I would have to look at his tape. I'm more familiar with Jayshon Barham from Michigan. I think he would be someone definitely you could look in like day three, kind of like a tweener type, but he can definitely do has some pass rush ability to his game. So yeah, I think let me pull up the combine performers here. We'll go to Edge. Let me get them on the screen. Kind of give you guys some guys that could be day three. Uh let's see. Yeah, so here's some names here that kind of performed well in the 40-yard dash. Um, but like guys that stood out. Yeah, I mean Barham I thought did pretty well. Dennis Sutton had a hell of a day. I think he's someone they could target on day two. Same thing with Malachi Lawrence. You look at R. Mason Thomas would be an intriguing name. Nadim, or I think that's how Nadami. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tucker is another one that could be a day three option. But there's your guy, Mason Rieger. Max Llewellyn. I'm intrigued by his game. I thought his tape overall was intriguing. But that was just in the 40. Let me see if I can get see if there's any other guys here. But let's go to the participants and then D end. There we go. But there's a lot of names to look at, like Joshua Josephs. I think he's intriguing from Tennessee. But these are more like round two, round three players. Day three, I like Hutchins from Boston College. I think is intriguing. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. This edge class, I think, is overall really good. Zion Young is another one that could be on day two. So I think you're looking at it pretty early. I don't know if there's going to be someone on day three that's going to really stand out. Gabe Akis is another one that we've talked about at Real Bucs Talk here. So it's a good overall solid edge group. It just really depends on what type of, what is going to be the flavor or who you're exactly targeting and what do the Buccaneers want. I think they want guys that can definitely provide more athleticism and a combination of power and speed if they have it. I think speed more so just to complement Yaya, I think is going to be somewhere to look. But yeah, all good points there. Yeah, Light is definitely going to have to trade up if they want Sonny Styles. I think he's pretty much gone in the top 10. We're already doing predictions. Oh man. I wonder if this guy's a Panthers fan, or maybe he's not any fan, but definitely doesn't like the NFC South. I don't think the NFC South is going to be that terrible, but if the Bucs are 1-16, I mean, a lot more is happening. Receivers. Yeah, receivers in the later rounds, I can't really comment. I've been mainly focused on defense, mainly the front seven so far in the draft. But that is something we will definitely look into, but it'll probably be closer once we get into probably April by the time we get to offensive players. But I'm definitely trying to focus and wrap up like edge rushers. That's been my main focus as of right now. We've looked at David Bailey. We've looked at Cassius Howe. We've looked at Keldrick Falk, TJ Parker, Gabe Akis, and I'm probably missing some other guy that we've looked at. But yeah, still more to get done there, and then get into linebackers and defensive line for sure. We've also done some like free agent targets, Sheldon Rakins, Boye Mafe. All of this is up on our Substack. It's also available on our YouTube. If you join either our YouTube membership, be sure to check that out, or you can join our Substack. that is also exclusive content, and it's awesome stuff to get into if you want to learn just more about the prospects, learn more about the game and how these guys, put themselves out there. But appreciate all the comments in here. I want to get Steven. Man, I love the suggestions. Trade for TJ Hawkinson. I don't know if they'll do that, but I do like Hawkinson. I think he's still a good player, but he is getting up there, a little up there in age. But we'll see. Realtor David, always good to see you. The more I watch Sonny Styles rise, I see Arvell Reese. Oh, yeah. I mean, Arvell Reese could fall. I think he's probably locked in at number 2, though, to the Jets. If not, he's going to go somewhere in the top 10. But I do agree with you. He would be awesome in the Todd Bowles defense. I think he's a perfect fit. I think he really does well as an off-ball linebacker, but I think he also has that versatility to play the edge position. I just think someone in the top 5 is probably going to put him at the edge and give it a shot because he's ridiculously good. And so is Sonny Styles. I mean, these are 2 of the best players in the draft, for sure. Deion Burks, yeah, I like him a lot. Kind of that shake and bake type of player, a little bit smaller. I don't know. I don't think he's 6 foot, but he's really quick, really quick. Trading up with the Commanders or Chiefs on first round should be easiest path in case one of our targets are still available. Yeah, I mean, that's something they're gonna have to definitely look into if they're not trading this pick for Max Crosby, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, but if they do have their first round pick and one of these guys fall to a certain spot, I think you have to definitely consider, moving up if that's the best case scenario. But we'll see. I also think trading down is probably a more likely possible scenario, just to get more draft capital, especially in day 2, day 3 of this draft where it really lines up with the value. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it, though. I thought the combine coverage today was really excellent, as it always is. And it's really cool to see just possible and potential rumors. We did have a trade today. The Jets and Titans did a trade, a player swap, basically. It was Tavondre Sweat from the Titans going to the Jets for Jermaine Johnson, hooking back up with Robert Saleh, who he did well with. Saleh drafted Jermaine Johnson, so it makes sense there. I think that was a good move. And I want to bring up this point because I thought this was intriguing here, just seeing Connor Hughes. He's a Jets insider. The Jets are being open to potentially trading other players, and that made me think of potential of maybe a Will McDonald. I know the Buccaneers had interest, I believe, in Will McDonald when he came out in the draft a couple years ago. He's 26 years old, and he's had 2 productive seasons. I think he had 8.5 sacks last year, 10.5 the year before. I think he maybe would be someone that the Buccaneers could look at in a potential trade if they're not going to go for Max Crosby. Maybe you could get Will McDonald for a little bit lesser of a price, but that's something to definitely look at. I know Kayvon Thibodeau is also become available, but I'm not too sure on him. I think his production is kind of up and down, plus the contract, being in his 5th year option. It's going to become a free agent, so you probably have to sign him up for extension. So that also plays a part into it. Yeah, that's a good point. Let me see if I can bring that up for you, John. Let's look up Will McDonald's contracts. I think he still has, because I want to say he was 2024 draft. So let's see. So I think he still has some years left, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, he was 2023. So he's the same range as Kalijah Cansey. So, I mean, right now he would be, let me bring this up so you guys can see it. Yeah, so he was 2023 class, and he is under contract this year. And I think it's not, I mean, it's not that bad. See what his total cap hit. Yeah, so his total cap hit is less than 6 million. But he does have a club option next year where that kicks in at almost 15 million per year, and then you'd probably want to try to get him to extension. The only issue with that is it's going to be 29 by the time he hits free agency. But if he works out and does well, then obviously you want to get him back on a good contract. So I don't know what he would cost in terms of a trade. I don't know if it would cost you a first rounder. I don't think. But at the same time, it's probably going to be, it could very well be a first rounder because he was a first round pick, maybe a second rounder. But again, I don't know how much that would be, but definitely something to look into. I think if you're giving up a first rounder, though, you probably just go for it in terms of Max Crosby. But this would definitely be a cheaper option in terms of cash and money. And that's something the Bucs have to be aware of because they only have 50 million or so in cash to spend this offseason. So that is something just to, I think, keep an eye on and see if that is, maybe they look into that. But again, appreciate you all being here. Be sure to not that. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. We appreciate you guys joining us, leaving your questions and comments. Oh, good thing you bring this up, Realtor David. We're probably going to do a mock draft here tonight. So I figured once we get closer to the end of the show, I'll bring up a mock draft and we can do probably a 3-round mock draft because PFF, I don't have a subscription, so we'll just have to do the free version. But I think that is something we will definitely check out here in a little bit. But I think that was pretty much it from the combine. I just wanted to get what your guys' thoughts were as far as, just a lot of good things from the linebacker class. I think that is the real positive. The linebacker class is, I think, really good as far as overall depth. And that is something the Buccaneers need because when you look at it, they're probably going to have to get 2 linebackers at a necessity out of this draft. And probably sign a free agent as well. It depends on if Lavonte David is coming back. I don't know. I would personally probably punt on Lavonte David. I know it's hard to, say goodbye to potentially 2 legends and Mike Evans and Lavonte David. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, definitely something to be mindful of is I think they got to attack linebacker and be aggressive in that realm. So that is something that should be on the horizon. I think by all indications is they are putting a lot of effort into the front 7, especially with the formal interviews that they've had with all these prospects. You can see the interest is definitely there. They know the weaknesses of their team, linebacker, edge, defensive line. It's got to be improved. So before we get into doing the mock draft, I wanted to bring up, we've kind of already talked about some of these guys, but I wanted to bring up just some potential free agent targets that I think the Buccaneers could be intrigued by for next week, or not next week, but in 2 weeks. It's crazy that free agency starts that soon, but let me see if I can bring this up here. Thank you. Oh man, you're awesome, Realtor David. I appreciate the support. we'll definitely put that towards a PFF subscription, so we can make it work. And yeah, that's awesome, man. Appreciate it. That made my day, man. Made my day. So you guys are awesome, every single one of you. Again, be sure to hit that like button and appreciate all the support you guys show. But yeah, let's get into the some of the free agents. And we talked about it. I've talked about like Boye Mafe. I've talked about Arnold Ebiketie being potential target. But let's see if I can bring this up here on the screen. Remove. There we go. So let's just go. We'll go down the line. Trey Hendrickson, I don't think is going to be a target. I know a lot of people want to talk about him, but he's turning 32 years old, coming off the hip injury. Don't know exactly what his number or price tag is going to be. So I would probably pass on him. Khalil Mack, again, another older player, still productive, but I don't know about him. I want to, so really like Joseph Osai, I think would be someone to look at. I think, who's the other guys? Kaylavon Chason, if he doesn't get re-signed by the Patriots, I think would be interesting. Odafe Owe would be kind of the big name target or a big price point target. He's going to command around $19 million per year. So Owe, I think, would definitely be intriguing. Arnold Ebiketie, I liked him. Boye Mafe. So really those guys at edge. So Osai, Ebiketie, Mafe, Owe, all those guys I think would make a lot of sense. Even like Sam Williams from Dallas, if they want someone cheaper, I think would be a good target. Just someone that could, raise the floor of your defense at edge 3. Yeah, I mean, those are all good targets. So those would be like my top guys as far as potential free agents. And then let's go over to interior defensive line, where I do think there is some, again, good solid veterans. Omada from the Falcons, probably not saying his name right, but he's really good. I think he would be a good addition, bring size like Todd Bowles was talking about. DJ Reader, same thing, big dude that can play the run really well, help out Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea. And Reader could be that guy playing next to them like Ndamukong Suh did. So I think that would be awesome. Sebastian Joseph Day is another one that I think could be an option that wouldn't cost you much. That can play 5-tech, play pretty much across the defensive line. I know a lot of people are talking Franklin Myers. I would love it, Steven, but he's probably going to be too expensive. He's $15 million, probably, looking at his salary, and that's just a lot for a guy that's, I mean, it's just tough because you already have 2 defensive linemen in Vea and Cansey that you want to get out in pass rush situations. So I'm more so looking for a veteran that can come in and play in base formations, someone that could come in as a backup. So I probably lean towards like a Sebastian Joseph Day. Sheldon Rankins, again, would be another high-end player, but I don't know if they do that. Nunez Roches, yeah, I think he would be fun. Tim Settle from Houston, I think, is another one that could come in and be that rotational piece, because basically you're looking to upgrade over Logan Hall. You're looking to upgrade over Greg Gaines. So I want guys that can come in, bring size and bring value as far as run stuffing ability, but also being able to push the pocket a little bit more in your pass, in the pass rush. Kyrus Tonga, another one I think would be ideal. So there's a few there that I think would make a lot of sense. And then at linebacker, we've kind of hit on pretty much all of them. I think Devin Bush, again, would be a top target. You look at Nakobe Dean, Alex Anzalone, I think would be good. Quincy Williams, potentially. So there's some guys that they could potentially go after, but I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Hendrickson, Khalil Mack on discounted contracts. I'll make Bucs t-shirts with both. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to be discounted. But we'll see. I don't expect them to be in the market for either one of those guys. I know there was rumors that they liked Khalil Mack last year, but we'll see on that one. Yeah, Sebastian Joseph Day, I think would be just a nice upgrade. Christian Wilkins, yeah, I think that guy unfortunately is probably out of the league for a reason. He's been a free agent for a while now, and there was a lot of character concerns, a lot of personal issues on his part, and just not sure where the motivation is with that guy. But who knows? Maybe if you can take a flyer and it's real cheap, maybe. But I doubt the Buccaneers bring him into the locker room. I don't see it, but I do understand the suggestion there. Yeah, yeah, no, I think you're right. You're right about that, but I don't see them going after him. But I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. You got to take some risk at some point, and that wouldn't be a bad one to at least attempt and see. Caden Ellis, yeah, he's another good linebacker from the Falcons. I think he'd be interesting. Hey, appreciate that. Appreciate subscribing. Thank you. Appreciate all the support we can get. John V. Yeah, I think there's some quality options there at defensive line and linebacker. I think they got to find ways to grab a few of those for sure. Peyton Turner. Yeah, I mean, Peyton Turner just hasn't really worked out though. So I don't know if there's much upside or value to taking someone like him. John V, cheaper corner. Yeah, I think one name to look at, Josh Capo of Pure Report mentioned this to me. James Pierre, I believe is his name, from Pittsburgh. That's a guy to look into. Again, the Buccaneers got the Steelers special teams coach, and Pierre probably is going to be a special teams player for you, kind of taking over the role of Kendall Vildor. And he had really good tape last year. So I think he's someone that could come in and compete for either even a starting job or at least push Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish. So I think that would definitely be intriguing. Sam Williams. Yeah, Sam Williams I like. Yeah, coming off, he has been sort of injury prone. Sebastian Joseph Day, yes. Malcolm Kuntz is another good one. Nakobe Dean, I think, would be a good fit for what the Buccaneers want to do. Definitely as a blitzer. You also have to worry about his past injuries too. But when he is on the field, he was really productive for the Eagles. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to any of those guys though, for sure. So all good names. Yeah. With that said, I think we talked about Sonny Styles and how awesome he is. Let's go. Let's bring up. Let me see if I can bring up the mock draft here and get this going. And that way we can at least do a 3-round. And I would love to get your guys' inputs, and maybe we can go through like a couple of different scenarios of what we could potentially expect. Do the Buccaneers go offense? Is there a chance they go offense yet again? I know my co-host Mark would probably just turn the live stream off at that point if that does happen. So let's bring it. Let me bring it up on the screen. All right. Can you guys let me know if you guys can see that? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Let me see. How about that? Is that better? There you go. A little bit better, right? So that way you guys can see the screen. So yeah, Raiders are on the clock. And Buccaneers are up. I can't make a trade. That's locked. So yeah, I'll have to get Realtor David's PFF login next time, and we'll make it work. But yeah, definitely gonna get a subscription with that super chat for sure. All right, so the Buccaneers are at 15, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, so as you guys see, ooh, wow, so a little bit different. Cassius Howell usually is available at the Buccaneers pick, but he goes at 14. Let's see what happened here. So Fernando Mendoza is most likely going to be the first overall pick. Arvell Reese at 2. I think that is very possible. David Bailey, Ruben Bain, top 5. Sonny Styles at 7. So there it is right there. I think Washington would be very smart to take him. Obviously, they have Bobby Wagner, who's getting up there in age, even though he's coming back. Do they re-sign him? So you could definitely see the need, and really Washington just needs good football players, especially, adding to their front, but also they have offensive needs too. And just looking at, I don't think there's an offensive lineman. Yeah, so there's one offensive lineman taken at 11, which does make sense for Miami. You got Jeremiah Love at 9, Keldrick Falk at 12. That's interesting. Jordan Tyson for the Rams. So we're up here at 15. Steven has already put his vote in, saying Mansour Delane. Really good football player. Really good. So I wouldn't mind that option. I think he is one of the top players in this draft. Caleb Banks really stood out as far as his overall size, but you you're worried about the overall tape and just his overall pad level being 6'6". You got CJ Allen, Akeem Messidor. I just started watching his tape, but I'm not overly impressed. I think he's more of a day 2 player. See, in this type of scenario, I think the Buccaneers, Peter Woods is another one, but he just doesn't have that production. And very inconsistent player. Kaden McDonald is another one. Awone, I think that's how you say it, or Awone from Penn State. If they want offensive line, but do you start Awone? Do you put Ben Bredesen at center? Maybe. Kenyon Sadiq has also been a guy that's been mocked. McNeil Warren, love his tape. I think he would be fun just to move Tyke more and have Winfield be more of that, kind of rover. But yeah, when you look at it, not much there. So what are we thinking? Are we just thinking Delane? Delane, yeah, I got 2 votes for Delane, so I think we're gonna go. Ooh, okay, so yeah, Spencer Fano, that would be interesting. Will you put him at like guard? I don't know. Yeah, let's see. How big is Fano? Yeah, 6'6", 308. Wouldn't be bad, but I'm kind of leaning to what you guys are saying. I think personally it would probably be someone like CJ Allen from Georgia. I think he's just kind of what the Bucs look for, not only in the leadership, but his front 7 play, his ability to play the Todd Bowles scheme, I think would be really good. But I'm going to go with you guys. If you guys are saying Lane, I got a lot of votes for Delane here. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go with Mansour. When you look at his tape, he was really good last year. 6 foot. And he's got, let me click on him. You just look at the grades, 90.5 overall grade. Did really well. 31.3 passer rating. 2 interceptions. He had 4 interceptions the year before. So definitely a playmaker. And just really good overall. He can do both man and zone coverage. This is just high level view of what I've seen of him. I haven't really personally looked at him in depth, but yeah, I'm with you guys. I think he is a really good player. And like, I know, yeah, Jermon McCoy is the other corner, but yeah, I like Delane. And when the Buccaneers do pick LSU players, does make sense. Okay, yeah, Jeremy, we got to vote for. Got to vote for Caleb Banks. Sorry, I hit my mic there. Caleb Banks or CJ Allen. Yeah, I mean, Banks would be intriguing, especially if they could trade down. I like CJ Allen a lot. For what I've seen of him, he was really good. But I'm going to go with the majority vote. So we're going to take Mansour Delane and really shore up the cornerback room. That gives you a starting cornerback. You can leave Jacob Parrish in at the nickel, and then Morrison has the opportunity to compete with either Zion McCollum or Delane here on the outside. So I like it. I think it bolsters your secondary, and also he's the best player available, and that's usually what you have to do in round one. So we'll go ahead with Delane here, and we'll see how the rest of the draft goes. So, all right, back up at 46. Let's see what we got. I think this is a good spot for potentially edge. Gabe Akis, I really like. I think he is a power type of player. You could look at Eli Stowers, maybe, but I'm not a huge fan. Jake Galladay, I like him, but I think he's a little stiff. Let's see. Chase Besantis is a really good guard. You got Derek Moore. Josiah Trotter, I know, is a linebacker that they like. Malachi Lawrence, we could take him. He did well today. But I mean, anybody that stands out to you guys, yeah, Yakis, I think, is getting the majority of the votes here. I really like his game. Really good, and he got better every year. Kind of reminds me in the Yaya Diaby mold, but I think he does have some upside, does have some bend to his game. Definitely did well for Illinois, and they also played him at a kind of weird alignment. Yeah, the second round is a little rough, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work here. Okay, Trotter or Moore. Okay, yeah. I mean, Derek Moore is definitely. I think you're talking about Derek Moore, right, Jeremy? Derek Moore is definitely. Let's just bring up the edge group. He's another intriguing one. He didn't test today at the combine. I think he's doing everything at his pro day, but he is definitely one to look at as well. He had 11 sacks last year, kind of broke out. He finally got his opportunity, and kind of reminds me a little bit of the guy who came out last year out of Michigan, Josiah Stewart. Kind of reminds me of him and how he plays, just with that speed to power. Really good player. I think he would definitely be intriguing. But what are we thinking? Yeah, can't go wrong with Big Ten edge rushers. Let's see. Let's see where they have. I think Jacob Rodriguez might have already. Did he get picks? Okay, so they still have Rodriguez a little bit lower, so we could potentially get him in round 3. Let's go back. Let's take off linebacker for a second. I mean, there is still some guys I don't mind. Romello Height, a little bit older prospect. You still have Dennis Sutton, who did really well today, so he could be an option. And then there's some other guys in the day 3 category. So okay, so we got 2 votes for Derek Moore. Go guard. Okay, you're thinking like Basantes. All right, so we'll leave it up. Whoever votes, I think he's coming down to either Yakis or Moore. Yeah, Romello Height is available. He's ranked lower here. So we got another vote for Yakis or Yakis. I'm not saying his name correctly. I apologize. It's Yakis. The J is silent. Defensive line is also another potential, but I think we can wait on defensive line. Darrell Jackson would be awesome just because of the size profile. Okay, we got to vote for height. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the majority, since the majority vote is on Yakis. I'm going to go with Gabe Akis out of Illinois. So there we go. We got an edge rusher. Maybe we double dip at edge, guys. Maybe we'll go with another edge rusher because you can't have too many. And there's Malachi Lawrence. He's the best player, so maybe we should have waited. But this is our last pick. So far we have taken a corner. We got an edge rusher. Do we go linebacker here? Or do we just wait for linebacker in general and just wait on day 3? But here's the best available. So you got Malachi Lawrence, Grayson Halton, I think is intriguing just because of his ability to win as a penetrator, kind of in that mold of Elijah Cansey, but a little bit bigger. And it wouldn't hurt to have another guy like that. So, I mean, we could go Jacob Rodriguez. I think he personally probably is gone before this pick, but if he made it to the 3rd round, that would be outstanding. So do you guys just want to go with Rodriguez? I think everyone's thinking Rodriguez here. Go ahead and make it happen. He's really good. I mean, I got to get more involved in his tape and really do a deep dive, but he is good. The only thing that does concern me, he does have a lot of missed tackles here. He had 20 this past season, 22 the year before. And some of that is because he is on the smaller side, 6'1", doesn't have the longest arms either, but he is a playmaker. He does play the position the right way. And if you can put the right guys in front of him, I think he could be an asset for the Buccaneers. So, okay, everyone's going with Rodriguez. All right, we'll go ahead and get Rodriguez here, add to the linebacking depth, and I think it's a smart move. He can also play special teams for you. So definitely makes it for a strong group. But this was a pretty good draft. I'm excited about the potential of this. I mean, just look at how do I close this out? There we go. So A+ for Delane. That's great value, getting him at 15. A for Gabe Yakis out of Illinois, and then Jacob Rodriguez with the B. So we got an A overall grade. We'll take it. That's pretty good. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'll go ahead and download this image. That way, I'll be sure to share it later and give you guys the credit. Okay, give you guys all the credit. But this is pretty awesome. I enjoyed this type of live stream. Just wanted to be real casual, chatting with you guys. Appreciate everyone joining here. Appreciate all the subscriptions, the super chats by Realtor David. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And this is something that I look forward to doing more of and try to just get in here and have a casual discussion with you all and kind of talk over some certain things. And if you guys want, other topics that you want to talk about, let us know in the comments too, because I would love to, kind of do like some more deep dive discussions, and maybe down the road we can do even like certain like film studies, certain film studies that are live, and kind of go in depth and look at certain guys and kind of get an idea of what is happening with said player and how do they project not only to the Bucs, but just to the overall league. We could also look at current Buccaneer players too, so I think that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, again, this was awesome. I hope you guys are enjoying the scouting combine. It's going to be a lot of fun going into tomorrow. I think tomorrow we have the defensive backs and the tight ends, and then we have I believe quarterbacks. Yeah, quarterbacks, and I want to say running backs, receivers Saturday, and then the last day I believe it's offensive line. So yeah, it'll be intriguing to see defensive backs for sure. I'll be looking at some of like the safety prospects. I don't know if they're going to take a safety because they pretty much came out and confirmed Tyke Smith as a safety. I don't know how I feel about that one. But he was playing well in the first half of the year. Let's see if he can get better at the position, which I expect him to, because he's really good. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone joining, and be sure to if I can get this correct. There we go. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and yeah, love to do this again with you all. Definitely need to get a subscription. So I will definitely be putting that on my radar, and we'll make that happen so we can do some trades and do some different things. I do like the stick to the model. I don't know if you guys have used that. Let me bring that up. I think I have a. Do I have a picture of it? Yeah, actually, you guys can earn 10% off if you do the stick to the model. I have to remember. I forget where it is. I'll have to find it, but I don't know if you guys have checked it out. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. But I love the stick to the model.com, where you can be your own GM and do some different things. This is really fun. So maybe we'll do something like this next time, do like a live where we'll go in and pick the Bucs and maybe kind of mock an off season. I've done a bunch of them as far as putting them up on Twitter and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely check this out. And if you guys want to join their subscription, I can get you 10% off. If you just type in the code, it's RBT for the promo code, and save you guys some money. But yeah, really fun tool. So I enjoy that. Messidor, what I didn't like, I liked his film. I just have concerns about the age. Again, he's an older prospect. He's going to be 25. I know there's a lot more older prospects now in the draft, but some of the things, like, I didn't think he had the greatest bend as far as around the edge. I think he's more of a kind of a tweener. He rushes better when he's inside the tackle and inside the guard. I think he wins a lot there. So I don't know what he presents as far as being a true edge rusher. I think he's a good versatile piece. I just don't see him as a round one option. If he's there in round two, I wouldn't mind it. I think the risk is less, but I worry about the foot injury that he's coming off of. I know there's been some concern around the league with that. But I think he's a very intelligent player. I think he fits character mold and all of those things that the Buccaneers look for. It's just some of the tape. I worry about how he really translates to the next level, especially at edge. If you put him inside at defensive line or like a 5-tech, I think he could have some success. But that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards like a Cassius Howe, Zion Young, Gabe Akis, Malachi Lawrence, these guys that can really rush with multiple things and know how to win on the outside. Mason Thomas is another one that I really like. So those guys are probably the more favorites. But great question. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you guys, every single one of you, for joining. Again, be sure to hit that like button. Leave us comments. If there's something that I missed and you guys want to talk about, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to discuss it there. Love chatting with you all. So with that said, everyone have a great night. Go Bucs. And we'll be back soon, probably sometime next week or definitely the week of free agency for sure. With that said, we'll see you next time. Go Bucs.